Hello, hello, everybody. Good morning. Happy after
Morning.
Thanksgiving to
Whoop, whoop.
everybody. When you hear this, it will be after Thanksgiving. This is a pre recorded episode for you guys. So please feel free, if anything comes up as you're watching the video, to put comments, in the chat. Cheyenne and I will be there to talk to you guys and engage you. We won't be able to do it on video, but we can still definitely talk through the chat. So please make sure to do that. Hey, Cheyenne. Hi, Alyssa.
Hey.
Thanks for coming back and chatting with us about another topic.
Absolutely, no problem.
So before we jump in, since, I let everybody know that we are pre-recording, what are you guys looking forward to eating on Thanksgiving?
I really need some cheesy macaroni and some crispy fried chicken.
Oh, come on. Come on with the macaroni. What about
Yes,
you, Alyssa?
mac and cheese is yes, it's everything. And especially like me and my brother, we do this thing where like we mix our food sometimes, like some certain foods, like mac and cheese and my grandma potato salad.
Mmm.
Woo,
I
that
used to
can hit
love
different.
my grandma potato salad, man.
Homemade ain't nothing like homemade potato salad.
I
That
know
store
it.
bought stuff ain't it?
I be trying to tell my husband that because sometimes, when we need to just do a quick meal, we'll do some baked barbecue legs and
Mm.
then he will buy some potato salad from the store and we'll do some baked beans. But I be trying to tell him it's that homemade potato salad. I'm slapping my knee right now. That's how good it is. Okay. But he don't believe me. But my grandma, man, her potato salad used to be off the chain. She's in her 80s now.
Mhm.
And so the cooking torch has been passed on to me. So I do, most of the cooking. I'm trying to get my sister situated. She's gonna be by the time everybody hears this, a homeowner. Okay. And at first I thought
Congratulations.
she would be able to host Thanksgiving at her place, but due to COVID, the kids and I, we're not, going to Chicago. But yes, for me, it's always the combination of the macaroni with not the potato salad, but the sweet potatoes. Now you want to talk about mixing something? Listen, that have me right. So now y'all got me so excited about cooking. This time I'm only cooking for five, so that's going to be interesting. I'm used to cooking for like 12, 13 people. So yeah, well, I hope you guys definitely have a blessed Thanksgiving. um and so today we are talking about the holiday blues and teen depression. Okay. So, you all know sometimes I like to bring my little articles in just so you all can know what's going on around the world. And, teen depression and the holiday blues, that's a real struggle for some people. And so, as we're having our discussion, I would like for you guys to feel free to, just share anything you may have experienced, or it doesn't have to be your experiences. It can be things that you've seen friends or family members experience, or even things that, um, you know, you could have seen on television or something that resonates with you. But I'm going to read you guys just a quick statistic and then I want to know your thoughts about it, okay? And then I think for the most part, if you guys don't have too much background noise, you can stay unmuted so you don't have to mute and unmute. When I'm in my Zoom classes, sometimes by the time you get to the mute button, somebody then said something or the teacher then moved on. So I want you guys to feel comfortable and able to interject when you can.
Right.
Being mindful of any jewelry or anything that may be contributing to clacking sounds. Um, just want to remind you all we can hear that even text messaging. So here is the stats. According to the National Institute of Mental Health, An estimated 3 million United States teens aged 12 to 17 had at least one major depressive episode in the past year. And as the holidays fast approach, these feelings worsen. And so, you know, it can be difficult, like with the holiday season, being bombarded with, social media posts, social gatherings, actually the gathering with your family may produce some emotions. What do you guys think about that statistic that I just read? 3 million teens having some type of major depressive episode.
It's a shocking. Oh,
It really.
you can go.
Oh,
It's
sorry.
fine.
It really kind of I think that's something a lot of people need to focus on because everybody think that like depression or like anxiety and stuff like they're just sayings, but it's a real like problem that people actually have to deal with, and having that peer pressure to just keep it in and keep it away. I think that's what's making it even more worse, and it's really starting to affect teens and the things that they do. You know what I mean? And I think it's because nobody really try to focus on it or try to get teens to understand, or parents even, that this is a real situation. It's a problem that it needs to be addressed, and a child should always feel welcome to talk about their problems if they feel like something is mentally and physically starting to mess them up or bother them.
Mm-hmm. Cheyenne, what are your thoughts?
I agree with what Alyssa said. 3 million. That's a big number. That's a huge number. That's an alarming number, and I feel like I should. I feel like there's probably even more. That's probably not even counted. So
Mm-hmm.
it makes me sad. It makes me wonder who else is being left out because I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure there's more than 3 million kids in the U.S. or around the globe. So
Mm-hmm.
it makes me sad.
Mm-hmm. So do you all think teens and, many people know what like major depression looks like? Because Cheyenne, I think you're right. It is a big possibility that a lot of young people were left out of that statistic because either they don't know and unable to really say, man, maybe I'm depressed, or their parents or loved ones didn't recognize the signs.
I feel like from my experience, I feel like a bunch of people don't know the warning signals or the cries for help until it's past a dangerous stage, like not wanting to talk to anyone, not wanting to be social, sleeping all day, um I don't know, wearing dark colors all the time, not smiling, listening to sad music constantly. Like these are like some of the warning signs, but they just think, I'm just quote unquote going through it or I'm just having a bad day. But when you have bad days continuously,
There
that's
you
when I
go.
start to raise my eyebrow.
Yep. That is so important and true what you just said. It's important to recognize that everybody feels sad sometimes. That's a human emotion and that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But all of those things that you mentioned, along with some others like, loss of interest in activities, you're eating, either starting to eat too much or not enough, feeling hopeless, having a hard time concentrating, having, constant thoughts of suicide. All of those are signs of major depression. And as you said, it's alarming when these things continue for an extended period of time. So after about 2 weeks, if you're still experiencing a lot of these things, then it's a possibility, you have clinical depression and may need to talk to someone. And so, that's why I really wanted to talk about teen, mental health and the holidays right now, because things can worsen during the holidays for whatever reason. And right now, we're going through a pandemic. So that exacerbates everything. And the first step is one, being aware. So, one of the things about Get Lit Teens that I really want to make sure everybody knows, we're all about teaching. So we want our young people to learn, grow, and heal. If you all don't remember anything else, that Get Lit Teens wants to do for Black and brown girls is to help them learn, grow, and heal. And so you gotta know, somebody gotta tell you. And so we're here to tell, teens what these things look like. So you have to first be able to acknowledge it, and then you need to tell somebody. You gotta tell somebody. It is not worth it. It is not.
Or even just ask somebody if that's what you going through. Like if you feel like you going through something, you feel like you having all these signs and stuff like that. Don't deny the signs, because yeah, teenagers go through like the stages. We want to do what we want. We trying to find ourselves and everything, but you might get lost and things happen. So it's okay to just also ask somebody, are you depressed? Just ask somebody, tell somebody, I'm having these symptoms that you guys have listed. Um, am I depressed? It's okay to ask that. Like, if someone has a problem with you asking a simple question about how you feel about things or what's going on with you, it's okay to ask. It's okay to make sure that, because you always gonna come first. You have to make sure you are okay, and
Mhm.
it's perfectly fine to ask somebody.
So let's let's do an actual conversation, just a quick one. Alyssa, let's just say you were experiencing these things and I'm one of your loved ones. Say exactly, let's role play exactly what you would say to either communicate that you're having these issues or ask if this is potentially what you could be going through.
Okay. So, ooh, I'm thinking of my little ones. um, hey mom or dad. I'm honest. I don't feel good. Like I don't feel happy. I've been really sad. I've been crying a lot, and it's because of what's been going on right now. Maybe with the family or things at school, even relationships and stuff like that. Is there something else wrong? You know. Um,
Mm. Thank you for coming to me and telling me. I know it could be confusing, you feeling these things and not exactly knowing what it is. And so, I'm proud of you for not holding it in and for really just coming to talk to me about it. How long have you been feeling like this?
for a couple of weeks right now.
Okay. Did anything in particular happen?
Well, it was when such and such got really into a bad argument, and it's really affected me on how I can go to that person because I need them. Me and my friend, we got in a really bad argument, and I really need somebody to talk to about it because I really miss her or him, or and I'm not happy anymore.
Okay. Have you thought about hurting yourself?
A couple of times.
Okay. Have you tried to hurt yourself?
Yes.
Okay. How can I support you?
Um, when I need to talk, we can talk.
Okay. Well, mama would like to take you to somebody else to talk to as well. You want to try that?
Yes, that'll be good.
Okay. All right, Alyssa, go ahead with the role play.
Stuff
Now,
like that.
that would be ideal if a
That would be
parent
ideal,
responded
but
in that
it's
way. And so I've had the reason why I was able to approach the conversation in that way is because those are intentional things that I'm trying to do with my kids the second time around. Right. So like right now, my kids are the big ones are 10 and 11, about to be 11 and 12. So I've tried to learn from the first time I parented a preteen and a teen so I can do things a little better. But of course, going to somebody and talking about what Alyssa just role played could be difficult depending on the person, you know.
Yeah.
You may not be able to approach the conversation the same way with mom as you would with dad or grandma or someone like that, because they bring their worldview and how they think of things and approach things into that conversation as well. The important thing is we want, you know, teens to know to go talk to somebody. Even if you don't feel comfortable talking with your family first, talk to a school counselor, talk to a social worker, you know, talk to a trusted adult that you have in your life that can help, you know, steer you. So we just talked about major depression. And we talked about the stats related to that and how the holidays can worsen that. That's separate from holiday blues, this thing about holiday blues, and I'm talking to you guys about. But then it's another thing called seasonal affective disorder. Have you guys heard of that? Sad seasonal affective
No.
disorder?
It's
Is
I
that part of holiday blues or
Mm-mm.
no?
Seasonal affective disorder is different. It's it's a form of depression that happens when the seasons change. So the most common one you'll see is seasonal affective disorder. It's really called you know, major depression with seasonal trends, not seasonal trends, but seasonal. I can't remember that last part. But it's related to, like I said, when the seasons change. So a lot of people will see it when winter comes, when the days are shorter and you're not getting, you know, the same amount of sunlight. And then it's very rare occasions where you will see it with a summer onset, which is when the summer hits, that's when people start to experience it. But some of the things that people see there is similar to depression. That's why I wanted to bring it up, because we're educating and we want people to be able to know the differences. But if you have like seasonal affective disorder, you may too sleep too much, have an increased appetite, your energy could be really low. You can have a hard time remembering things or handling certain situations. You may be super irritable. Um, but a big one is you may start to isolate yourself, and you may also start to have frequent thoughts about death or suicide. Okay. So remember again, those are related to the seasons changing. Holiday blues isn't an actual like mental health disorder. It's not a form of depression or anything like that. It can lead to it, depending on the symptoms and how long you're experiencing it. But holiday blues is really centered around, you know, that the holiday season and the different symptoms that people have related to that. um when the holidays are over, then the holiday blues goes away. Now some therapists have seen that holiday blues can start as early as Halloween, so not necessarily Thanksgiving or Christmas, even though it typically starts around Thanksgiving. It can start as early as Halloween and end around New Year's. So what ways do you think holiday blues, so not quite depression, even though we see that there's, you know, a, a, a significant prevalence of depression in teens, everybody doesn't have it, right? We're not
Mhm.
just going to diagnose everybody. What are some ways that the holiday blues can affect teens in general?
I feel like, the pressure of gift giving or, wondering about a gift or even like, I'm not going to argue on whether or not Santa is real. We can leave that up to the viewers. But, seeing your parents struggle to put gifts under the tree, that can be stressful sometimes. Because, parents, they want to make the holiday special, but sometimes they got a penny pinch, and that's reality.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's especially when it's like it's time to go back to school and you see everybody in your school, they have like new things, gadgets and stuff, and you're not able to have that much. It can really kind of affect the child, and also like when a parent isn't home or they lost a family member recently, or if their family just not as family-ish as they're supposed to be, you know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
your dad, your mom might be fighting. Um, you might never see your relatives, stuff like that. Like for me personally, I love my family dearly. I love my immediate family dearly, but it makes me happy to see my other family on the holidays. And I don't think I'm gonna be able to get to see most of them this year because with all this COVID stuff and how high the numbers have gone, and
Mm-hmm.
I think that could be effect on the kids too. You know, family seeing they little cousins and stuff.
Hmm. That was actually something I was going to talk to you guys about too, COVID, and how you all think it's impacted teen mental health.
Whew.
It has made it at first it made me anxiety filled when things shut down in March. Prior to we were all living normal lives. I was living my normal life, going over family members' house, seeing my cousin, seeing my grandma. She's not my actual grandma, she's my cousin's mother, but she's elderly. Just being able to spend time with her baby, and now like you can't because they're sensitive. They have pre-existing health conditions, and I go to different places. I don't know who I'm interacting with, so I don't want to bring that to their house. So resulting to FaceTime is nice, but it doesn't compare to grandma's hugs and kisses, and I miss
Hmm.
that dearly.
Hmm. So, what do you think teens are doing in, to replace that? Do you
Uh,
think teens are, because they miss their friends and family, still engaging anyway? The reason why I ask is because I watched Grey's Anatomy. Was it Grey's Anatomy? Well, I think it was Grey's Anatomy and Fire Station 19. And one of the storylines in the episode was about a group of teens who wanted to see each other. Do y'all watch Grey's Anatomy? Or is that,
my mama
The
do.
old
yeah, girl.
episodes.
Okay, great, man. It's so funny because my 5-year-old, I'm a sap. Okay, so I cry at stuff. And she watches me when she sees things on television. And she looks at my face. So for this episode, she was like, Mommy, are you about to cry? And I was like, no.
No.
It wiped my eyes because yeah, I was starting to cry. But anyway, it was these group of friends who hadn't seen each other and they wanted to like go to a party together or have a party. Unfortunately, one of them ended up dying because the car blew up, and it was, some things, tragic things that happened. But so I'm crying, and I called my 11-year-old son in to give me a hug, and I told him I need him to make good decisions in life. But I feel like it's relatable. You know what I'm saying? Because not just teens, but everybody, we miss our loved ones, and it's still that balance of. And I talk about all the time how at my last place of employment, the CEO would always say, they're telling us to be socially distant, but what we need to be is physically distant and not socially distant. But Cheyenne, you're right, nothing replaces a hug from grandma. Like, I haven't seen my grandmother in so long because
Right.
she's in her 80s, and I don't want to go around her and potentially spread anything, even though I know we've been careful. We don't go anywhere. If we go
Right.
out, we have our mask on, but I don't want to take that chance.
Right.
And on the flip side, there's actually something called COVID-19 stress syndrome. Have y'all heard of that?
No.
A little bit, but elaborate.
So I was excited, first of all. Well, excited, I don't think is the best word to use, but I felt relieved when I heard about it, because it let me know that a lot of the things I've been experiencing personally, it's not just me. Other people are experiencing it as well. But when you have something that's classified as a syndrome, it's a set of symptoms come together that make it, what it's described to be. And so within this syndrome, it's people who have intense fear about contamination. What else does it involve? Panic buying. Um, Let me see. I have something
Some
about
of my
it.
family members panic bought bleach, detergent, toilet paper. It was ridiculous. Their basement looked like BJ's, a big warehouse superstore. I don't know if you guys have BJ's in Chicago, but we got BJ's in Connecticut where you could
No,
buy in bulk.
we got Oh, buy in bulk. So that's for us. That's
Yeah,
like Costco
Sam's
or
yeah,
Club.
yeah.
Sam's
Costco.
Club.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we got those
But
too.
the different components of COVID-19 stress syndrome is danger and contamination fears, socioeconomic concerns, xenophobia, traumatic stress, and compulsive check and reassurance checking. And so the last one is about always, like, for me, it plays out by always watching the news. Like, I need to see what's the most current event, what's, going on right now. And just kind of trying to reassure myself, okay, you don't have COVID, because nowadays if you just cough too hard, you may be like, the memes on Facebook, like, God,
Right? Is it me?
God,
Me?
is it me? You know what I'm saying? Is it the COVID? You know? So, or if you do too much coughing, somebody looking at you like, you all right?
Right.
Where your mask at?
Yes.
So that's something. But this is traumatic, and the stress coming from this trauma, is really building up and affecting people. And even though what I read about COVID-19 stress syndrome was related to adults, that has to be happening to teens and even children. At the beginning of COVID, my 5-year-old was very aware of what was going on with COVID. And she even had some fears because she heard us talking about some of my health issues, and she was afraid, because of that. So, you know, a lot of people are just stressed in general because of COVID. And like when I read about this in an article, it talked about 16% of adults have severe symptoms of COVID-19 stress syndrome, but over 50% of adults reported some distress as a result of it. So it's getting us.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
So, how do you all think, like I said, the stress is playing out for teens?
Um,
I think. I'm sorry.
you want to go?
No, you go ahead.
Okay. Well, I was gonna say for children and teens, I feel like when traumatic and stressful events happen, it causes them to grow up a little bit faster or faster than intended. I know that my friend has a little daughter. She's 5. She's not a teenager, and they spoke to their kids about Corona, and all of a sudden out of nowhere, she asked her parents. She was like, "Mommy, am I gonna die?" And I'm like, a 5-year-old thinking about death. That didn't
Mm,
really sit right with me, so that freaked me out a lot.
That was my daughter. She thought I was going to die
Hmm.
because of, like I said, some health issues that I have that
Hmm.
really, puts me at risk for it. And so, moving, like you said, like we were talking about the holidays, and Alyssa said she doesn't think she's going to be able to see, many of her relatives. How do you think other teens are kind of dealing with COVID and the holidays colliding?
I think. Um, I really think that it's kind of hard for them because it's like that's the one time, like it's not the one time, but for me personally, holidays are the one time I get to see everybody. Like I see my mom and my grandma and my papa, but I get to see all my cousins and stuff who I haven't seen over a year. and it kind of, you know, it make you feel like the holidays not gonna be as good as it used to be. Um, and then you might have to worry because, um, going back to what you had guys said earlier, um, with the little girl accident that her was no, was it you? You said your daughter had asked you that, Evelyn.
It was me, but Cheyenne talked about the daughter of one of her friends.
Oh yeah,
Who?
it kind of scared. Like I didn't ask my grandpa that, but it kind of scared me because he had every like um his health was a lot like what they said could really harm someone, like being diabetic and having high blood pressure and um being overweight. It kind of scared me because it's like he has all those problems. And
Mm-hmm.
my grandpa looks very, very skinny. You know, he's old school, and it just those other two problems really kind of scare me because I don't. That's like he's like my old friend. You know what I mean? And it's really hard to lose him. And I'm really scared that he's gonna get in. It's gonna mess. It's gonna hurt him because he lost two friends from
Mm-hmm.
COVID-19, and I cannot see him gone. I can't.
Yeah. So not COVID-19 related or even necessarily holiday blues related at this point. What do you guys say to teens that may be dreading family gatherings because of different family dynamics or things that they're worried about happening?
Um, I would say you said what I would tell them.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I would tell them unfortunately this is how things are gonna kind of have to be until everybody starts taking apart and taking this disease seriously, this virus seriously.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and the best you can do right now is just be with the ones that you are with right now. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? Like I love my immediate family, but you see people too often. You get tired of people. You get tired of them. So I think it's kind of pushing me to really cherish the moment with them and stuff like that when I am with them. Um, so just I would say just make the best of it, because if it's something that you can't fix, then don't try to fix it, because if you literally can't, we can't control this thing without everybody's help. So the best you can do is just make the best of what you can fix.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you and your mother have been into it for so long, and this coronavirus, seeing each other all the time ain't helping. This time where you need to fix, like, mend those little broken relationships and things like that. Just make the best of the situation.
Mm-hmm. Cheyenne, what do you think?
I definitely agree with Alyssa. I have two responses. They're kind of opposite, but they go in the end they match each other. So I would first say, for those who have the blessing of having immediate family around them, and you're gonna spend the holiday with each other, make the best of it. Try to live in the moment. You never know. We don't know what tomorrow is gonna hold. We can only live right now in this very second. So when the holidays come around, try to be as grateful as possible. You know, think positively. It could be way worse. I know it's bad right now, but trust me, it could be way worse. On the other hand, for those who are making the decision if they want to go to a family gathering that might be bigger, their family may be problematic, I would say remember to set your boundaries. Don't be scared to let people know if they hurt your feelings, or Thanksgiving clapbacks or all of that, or the family members that try to pry in your business and make you feel bad about yourself. Be sure to set your boundaries, or tell a trusted adult, tell if it's your aunt, tell your mom, tell your dad, because you shouldn't be feeling like you shouldn't be feeling less, especially during this holiday time. We're all going through it right now.
Yeah. Boundaries
Absolutely.
Boundaries is really important. Do you think it's hard for teens to set boundaries? How do you set a boundary?
I
It's
yeah.
honestly, I'm sorry, I keep cutting you
No,
off.
no, no. It's fine. It's fine. You go. You go.
Honestly, I think it has a lot to do with the fact of not telling people. Like, I think some of my age group do. We kind of, if it's an issue that someone's crossing the line, I think my age group kind of just let like try to let it wash off or brushing on the rug when it really should be addressed it, because everybody don't want to make somebody else feel bad about something, or they don't want to make everybody else feel um you know icky. I don't know if I'm saying it right, so they don't want to hurt nobody's feelings. That's what I'm looking for. That's the word. They don't want to hurt nobody's feelings, and um they don't set them. You know what I mean?
So things can be offensive or bother,
Yeah,
teens, but they don't say anything because they don't want to hurt anybody else's feelings.
basically yes.
So just in simpler language, somebody does something to you
Mm-hmm.
that you don't like, and you're making the choice to put the other person's feelings before your own. Yeah. So that's not healthy. We know that that's not healthy.
Hmm.
Cheyenne, what were you going to say?
What was I gonna say? I was gonna say, okay, you need to express whatever happened to you, or express how you're feeling, especially if they're attacking you, or making you feel some type of way, especially if it's like an adult to a child, or maybe an older teen to a younger teen. You got to bring it up, and don't be scared to, like, shield their feelings, or, oh, what if they get in trouble? They should have never made you feel like that, or said XYZ to you. So it's like, all right, it's at the point where, like, forget your feeling. I'm not even worried about how this makes you feel. I'm worried about how you made me feel.
hmm And
Right.
so it's important, I think, going along with what Cheyenne just said,
Mm-hmm.
you be conscious of your delivery. So we've talked about before, in previous episodes, about black girls having to worry about seeming like the angry black woman if we respond a certain kind of way, like that's a social pressure that we have, right? So I'm just trying to communicate that you want to be in control of your feelings enough to be able to explain to somebody without being so elevated. And it's not even necessarily in the context of trying not to be the angry black woman. I brought that up as an example, but you just want to manage yourself so you can say what you need to say, because a lot of times, I don't know if you guys have noticed, you ever had an argument with somebody, and then after the argument and y'all gone from each other, you remember things you could have said at different points of the conversation. Well, the reason why you couldn't say those things in the conversation is because you was mad. You were angry. And so when you're in that state, you can't think rationally. So that's why I'm trying to tell you guys, as you're advocating for yourself and doing all of those things that Cheyenne just said, not necessarily being worried about the person's feelings, but managing yourself so you can present yourself in the way that you want to get your point across for the people to understand, so you don't have to repeat it again.
Precisely.
And it's hard. And I'm telling you all that I still struggle with it sometimes, depending on who it is and what they said and how I felt. So I want you all to understand that I recognize that it's something you have to practice. It's not just something you can decide, you know. Here, did you all watch the debate?
Yeah,
And
I'm speaking.
Vice President elect had to keep, you know, and can you imagine what she had to manage
Yes.
internally
Yes.
to
I know
even
she
get to
was
the
mad.
point to what you say, Cheyenne?
I said, I know she was mad, but seeing that she's a black woman and she's a black woman in power, we're forced to present ourselves a certain way, even though we want to act out how we really want to act out. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I
Mhm.
know Kamala was mad.
Yeah. And she just smiled
Right.
gracefully and said, "I'm
Right.
speaking." You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So having that, so it's called really self-regulation. Being able to self-regulate, so you're able once again, to communicate what you need to. Um I want to just quickly talk about ways that you can prepare for the holidays during COVID-19. Even though, like I said, by now, our listeners, you all have already had your Thanksgiving, but we still have Christmas if you celebrate it, but any other holidays at the end of the year and the new year, it's okay to identify how you're feeling, you know. So, Alyssa, you were able to say it makes you sad that you won't be able to see everybody that you normally see. You know what I mean? So, a piece of the self reflection for you guys is to just ask yourself, how am I feeling with the holidays approaching? How was I feeling before Thanksgiving? How was Thanksgiving? How is that contributing to how I feel about the upcoming holidays? And then acknowledge what you lost, particularly this year. We all have lost at least the sense of normalcy that we had before. Like, that's the one thing we all have in common. But some of us may have actually lost a person to COVID, or one of our loved ones, like Alyssa's granddad, may have lost friends. Some of us may work in the health industry, and that is so hard. And I just thank all of the first responders, all of the healthcare professionals that are in the trenches serving people. Like I said, I'm a SAP, and on Grey's Anatomy, I think they did a great job showing how the doctors and the nurses are being impacted by this. It hurts them to lose patients. Like, that hurts them. I saw a nurse on CNN last night crying, telling people, don't go home, don't travel for the holidays. It's not worth it. You wear a mask. You'd rather be on a mask than be on a ventilator. Like, that's actually what she said. And so it's okay to have these feelings about what's happening right now. It's okay to acknowledge, what you've lost, and then after that, I think it's about changing your mindset to get through the rest of the holidays. Make the most of it, you know. Get creative. One silver lining about COVID, I think right now, is we have learned how we can be creative. There are businesses who've learned that their employees can be just as productive at home
Yup.
than
Mhm.
in the office. My daughter's birthday, the 5-year old, she turned 6 on Thanksgiving. And we were going to have a birthday party for her in Chicago, but now we can't. But we're going to have a virtual birthday party you know Get Lit teens, we're about to start having monthly virtual slumber parties. So make the most of what we have. And Alyssa, I think you even talked about that earlier. you know and don't romanticize what you think the holidays could have been without COVID, because it's some things about the holidays that stressed us out, before COVID, but now we're placing them so high in our minds because we wish we weren't dealing with COVID. So, that's something else. Don't romanticize it. The holidays don't have to be perfect for them to be special. And that's important to keep in mind. And then the last thing I would just say is practice gratitude. Be thankful,
Be
you
thankful
know.
for what you got, cause it's so. And something else I know, I realized too, thinking about it, is I remember my grandmother. We used to go to this homeless shelter, this women's shelter, where
Mhm.
and we might make the kids presents and gifts and stuff. I had taught them how to crochet a couple times. We made them blankets. Um, and it really made me realize, like, kids in foster homes or kids in situations like that, the holidays probably the only time they actually got gifts from people who came to came to that, and the fact that we can't go this year, they might not have gotten anything all year, So some of us get stuff every day or every other week.
Yeah.
So I feel really bad for those type of people, and the fact that we can't do anything about it right now.
Yeah. Yeah. So, how do we cope with holiday blues? Just being aware, so hopefully you guys were able to learn like the differences between major depression, seasonal affective disorder, and holiday blues. Make sure during this time you get enough rest and sleep. If you don't do that, that impacts so many different areas in your life. And Cheyenne is a wonderful social media manager. And one of the recent posts, she talked about what sleep needs to be your best friend. Your
Yeah.
functioning, your level of functioning is greatly impacted by the amount of sleep you get and the amount of water you drink.
Hmm.
And so, keeping that in mind, making sure that if you need support, you get support. Say something, speak up, tell somebody. But be open to starting new traditions.
Right.
You know, this could, I feel, and this is going back to like the technology, you know, a lot of families are having Zoom meetings and a lot of people are being more intentional about connecting with family, even if they're far away. So make sure that, you guys keep that in mind. Get some exercise in. If you're a praying person, make sure you pray. Make time for yourself. Set those boundaries, prioritize,
Hmm.
and then set differences aside. A quarter of a million people, more than a quarter of a million people, have died because of COVID. And it's not discriminating, even though we see where it's more prevalence,
Hmm.
it's happening to everybody. And so set aside those differences, tell your loved ones you love them, talk about any grievances or issues you have with each other, and then make the decision to make peace and move on, you know, because we're not promised tomorrow. So Cheyenne, what do you feel are the key takeaways from our discussion today?
Key takeaways: knowing the differences between, as you said before, major depression, seasonal depression, SAD, sad.
Seasonal
Um,
affective disorder.
yes, I remember the acronym: seasonal affective disorder, holiday blues. Definitely checking your privilege. Realize, as Alyssa says, sometimes we get things every day. Sometimes we get things every other week, but not everyone has the same story. So definitely realizing what you should be grateful for and appreciating that. I have food on the table, I have clothes on my body, I have a bed to sleep at night. So especially during this time of giving and gratefulness and happiness, it's really imperative that we remember what we have and that we're grateful
Hmm.
for it.
Alyssa, what advice would you give parents on things to look out for, um to know if their kids have depression, any form of depression, or if they are experiencing holiday blues?
Um, Being isolated or not talking as much about it, because I'm pretty sure a lot of kids right now are not really excited about the holidays. They probably think Santa can't come no more because of COVID. And
I
I
didn't
think,
even think about that.
yeah.
Oh, the littles who think Santa's not coming.
Hmm.
Mm.
So like, like try to make the best of it with your kids, and try to like just listen to them when they want to talk. If they need to vent about something, talk. Ask them what's going on, especially if you see them being isolated. And if, like, I know me personally, I'm a very like out there person. I talk to everybody. I'm kind of goofy a lot, and if I'm not goofy, something wrong with me, or it's just
Hmm.
something it just some probably some time I need by myself.
Okay.
And um So I say just really watch them and see how they're acting to certain things if they're not like their normal selves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, thank you guys so much. I think they wrapped it up nicely. Just one last thing. We've said it throughout the episode. If you're a teen and you feel like you're experiencing any of the symptoms that we talked about, if you've been feeling this way for an extended period of time, please say something. Please say something. Your life is worth it for sure.
Definitely. Yes.
Thank you, everybody that have listened. We will see you next week live. We'll be back on schedule with our lives. In the meantime, find us on social media, Get Lit Teens, Facebook, and YouTube. We're going to have some things coming to you guys on TikTok pretty soon.
Woo woo!
Okay.
Can't
Um,
wait.
but we hope you had a beautiful Thanksgiving and happy holidays, and we will see you all next week.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.